of our program, and with us will be head coach Roger Grove, and I'm sure we'll have a fascinating time talking to him. We'll be back in a moment. And to finish off our focus program on football, I have with me Roger Grove, the head coach of the Norristown Eagles. And first of all, welcome to the studios. Let me ask you, coming in here, your 9th season, how does this team, just a very generic question to kick things off, how does this team compare with others that you have? What's the potential of it?
Well, we're a young football team. You know, we've come off of 3 years where we've battled for championships. And you know, we're young. We started out, beginning of the year, we're stronger on our defensive side of the ball than our offensive side, but we feel this football team is going to get better every week, you know, the more we play. We've improved a lot since the first day of practice, and, you know, right now I think we are a contender in our league. I think our kids have matured. Our upperclassmen are playing extremely well. Our younger kids are coming on at our skill positions, so we think we can be, hopefully, a typical Norristown football team.
Is there a different approach to approaching a team, a young team, as you put it, as to a team where, let's say in years past, 5 years ago, where you had Steve Bono at quarterback, or last years when you had Wayne Denson and Carmen Bello, two proven running backs? Is there difference? I guess I'm trying to say, is there a difference coaching this team where there's no one superstar per se that sticks out?
I think there's a difference. First of all, to answer your question, with this type of football team, where we want to start them out easy. We don't want to bring them along where they, you know, in the beginning where we put a lot of pressure on them. We want them to feel comfortable with our offense, feel comfortable with our defense, and improve. You know, the key is we got to get better every week. We now are going to go into our opening league game, which is ultimately what you're shooting for, and I think we are exactly where we want to be. The fact that we don't have a Steve Bono or a Wayne Denson, so at least we don't think we do so far, I think the team looks at it differently more so than the coaches. I think our kids realize now that they as a group have to work harder, they as a group have to do more, and our kids did that in the off-season. We had a great off-season program. Our kids worked hard. We had great weight gains. We had great strength gains. But we think we have some very good football players. You know, we have some kids that have performed extremely well. And I think, you know, we have a couple underclassmen, juniors, who have the potential to be a real great football player. But ultimately, you know, as a team, we came together and we're playing good football.
And I guess really one of the big benefits for Norristown's program, you being the head coach, you've always had excellent JV programs and freshman programs over the past years.
We have. You know, I have a great coaching staff that's done a great job with our kids. We have a good middle school program, a good junior high program, a good feeder system. I think once kids learn what winning is, it sort of just accumulates. You know, our kids, when we walk out on a football field, and we want this, when we walk out, we expect to win. You know, I think that's something that you have to have. You know, we were fortunate enough our first couple of years to win, and you know, I think that's developed an attitude with our kids now that any given week we feel we're going to win a football game.
Okay, let me ask you, as far as we know pretty much what the Norristown Eagles are going to be at, like who are the main competition in the Suburban 1 League for you guys?
Okay, that's interesting you asked that, because with the change of leagues, you know, I think right now we're probably the best league, and I think most of the college football coaches will tell you that, in southeastern Pennsylvania. It's a very large school league. We're the smallest school in it. Every week you're going to play somebody that's good. This year, I would say right now, this week we play Pennsbury, who has to be one of the preseason favorites. Council Rock had an excellent JV team and a few veterans back, so they're going to be outstanding. Abington had a couple key kids back and some real good young kids, so they're outstanding. Neshaminy probably have more kids back in the league than anybody else, and they have a new coach who's coaching the college level, and they're good. So, you know, as you go through our league, there's not really anybody that's poor. You know, and this year, I think more so than the past 2 years, actually anybody could win it. You know, I don't think there's one team that specifically stands out.
Okay, most fans, I guess, in Norristown, the season comes down to you beat Kenrick, you beat Upper Marion, and you win the Suburban 1 Conference, and hey, it's a winning season. Does it put more pressure on you as the head coach? I mean, it seems like I hate to say it, and I don't mean it in a derogatory sense, but it seems like people are spoiled maybe at times when they have a winning program in front of them. And, you know, if you don't get the 8 or 9 wins, and if you don't win on Thanksgiving Day, hey, the program's a failure. I mean, it's not in our eyes, but do you feel that pressure on your shoulders?
I think any head coach puts a lot of pressure on himself. I think most of the pressure I put on myself is certainly self-inflicted. I do think, though, it's important to our program to beat Bishop Kenrick. I think it's important because the community gets involved with those games that you mentioned. To beat an Upper Marion. You know, we've had great football traditions, us and Upper Marion, and it's a great game. I do think, though, once you win and once you are successful, I think people expect you to win. And I think it does add pressure, and again, though, I think I put a lot of pressure myself. You know, you look at the colleges, you know, Penn State, unless they win their 8 games a year, they've had an unsuccessful season. The Ohio States, you know, the Notre Dames, you know, it's the same type thing. Hey, we're just proud to be in that category. You know, if that's the way people look at us, well, then that's credit to our program.
Okay. How do you yourself handle the criticism over the years, you know, by the armchair quarterbacks that say, A, you run the ball too much, or B, you're not throwing the ball enough, or C, they keep on coming up with all the different criticisms, either in the media or just from the talk on the streets, let's say. How do you handle that?
Well, I think I don't hear a lot of the criticism, but like any football coach, you know, there is criticism. We feel that we prepare our football team totally. And I think our kids know that. I think our players know that. So that when we play a football game, we are totally prepared so that, you know, we don't second guess ourselves. Oh, hey, you're going to have a call once in a while. You say afterwards, I shouldn't have made. I think anybody in sports has that. But the fact that we prepare our kids mentally, emotionally, and physically to play a football game, we as coaches put a lot of time in. I feel very comfortable about it. I think if there was a part of the game that I didn't do that, then I would be open to that criticism. And as long as you're a coach, you're going to have to anticipate and expect some of that. So I think the big thing with us is our kids know that. Our kids are behind us 100%. Our kids have faith in what we do. They have confidence in what we do. And therefore, it's not really that's not a real problem with us.
And over the past, well, the 8, 9 years that you've been here, you've had a lot of kids go on to major college programs, get scholarships for playing football. That must be a fascinating process, dealing with the recruiters and the different offers, and I guess really being a guidance counselor of sorts to the guy that's playing football as far as what he wants to do with his future.
Yeah, that's one of the enjoyments of being a football coach. You know, not only the Steve Bonos or the Jeff and Jerome Reinhardts, the Billy Smith that go on full scholarships to big universities in the country, but some of the kids that go into our smaller schools, our Division II schools, our Division III schools. I try, and it's getting hard now because of the numbers. The first couple years I tried to see every kid that we had play. You know, I've been to Ohio State, I've been to West Virginia, I've been to Virginia, but you know, we try and go and see the kids. But it's a pleasure. I mean, it's fun to see these kids go on and develop. It's enjoyable to have these coaches come in. I think it's a credit to our program. It's a credit to our school to have this. You know, right now, fortunately, Norristown is known throughout the United States as a football school. I think any major college you go to can recognize our name. We've been fortunate to have kids that have done well both in the athletic field and academically. Billy Smith last year was an academic All-American. You know, and there's a lot of those kind of kids out there that we've had. And some of the kids who were average students in school now in college are doing a great job in their academics, and they're having success in the football field. But no, it is enjoyable. I love seeing these kids come back. Last weekend, you know, a lot of places I went throughout town, and the community people said, well, this was like Norristown week. You know, we knew Steve Bono was supposed to play for UCLA. Timmy Haney was playing the best offensive lineman in the country. Wayne was on television playing for Florida State. Jeff and Jerome were down playing in LSU. Arizona was playing LSU. Mark Palladino was captain of Westchester. You know, a couple of our players went over there to watch that. And Kenny Adams scored at Cal State. You know, we could go on and on. And we looked at, you know, it was enjoyable to look at a paper and see all these kids that we have had and have played for us. And really the nice thing, and the part that I guess keeps us all in coaching, is most of those kids before the Kenrick game, almost every kid that I mentioned to you called me the night before we played Kenrick to wish us luck in our opening game. And, you know, that means that they've gotten something from our program more so than just football. There's a little bit of a
camaraderie.
Yep, you know, where we care about each other, and to me, that's what it's all about.
That's got to be the most rewarding thing.
Most rewarding.
Let me ask you, being here for 9 years. What's the future hold for Roger Grove? Do you want to stay at the high school level, or do you aspire to eventually move into the college ranks?
Well, this past year I had 2 college offers. I was offered 2 college jobs, and I gave a lot of thought. I enjoy high school kids, and I enjoy Norristown. I enjoy the kids I have. You know, I was in a situation this year where I thought that if I'm going to make a move, this would be the time to do it. I'm not going to say that I would never look into college football again or won't, but I enjoy the kids I have here, and I, you know, enjoy my coaches. I enjoy the people here. I enjoy the community, and you know, right now I'm happy here.
Okay. Well, look, it's been a pleasure having you come up to the studio, spend some time with us. The past 5 years we've done the football games. I think we've only spoken a few times, but of course, hey, you've got a job to do, and we're sometimes up there disagreeing or agreeing with you in the press box, as you well know. I'd like to thank you for your time anyway.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Another focus program wrapped up now. This one, of course, focusing on football. We'd like to thank the Norristown coaches and, of course, Roger Grove for joining us today, and thank the Norristown Area School District, because without their support, this program would not be possible. I'm Allan Rolly, and just make sure you watch your cable channel for future football and basketball telecasts and more focus programs.